Morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the shop. Long time no see. I hope you missed me. Anyway, I'm here with Donkey, and we're going to iron out some of the problems that I had during some shakedown crews and get it back in shape here and finish it off once and for all. I'm tired of this project dragging on. It's time to call it done. So, let's get the front end stripped off this and see what we're up against. Hang in there. Well, welcome back. Now that we got the hood and front end off and out of the way, we can really get down into the heart of the donkey here. And for those of you that haven't seen down in here, or don't know, that is a 420cc Princess Auto side shaft motor. Apparently rated for 18 horse. I think they're probably exaggerating, but it is a wickedly torquey motor and has been bulletproof so far. $400 out the door. It was brand new. I guess for you Americans, it's the equivalent of Harbor Freight. And with the exchange, it'd probably be a $300 motor for you down there. But came with electric start, all the good stuff, ready to rock and roll. So I have had one issue with it, and it was my own fault, and that was over on the other side. I hooked up a choke to a dash control because I was tired of reaching under here and doing the choke manually, but it caused some interference with the throttle, and when everything's static or when the throttle's at idle, you can move the choke arm back and forth. Doesn't interfere with anything. But then you'd stab the throttle and it would interfere with the choke then. It would cause it to stick at full throttle, which really wasn't comforting. So we're going to have to fix that. The other thing that was happening is underneath the belt guard here, and I'll remove that and we'll get in there a little closer. It wasn't throwing the belt, but it's twisting the belt around. And halfway up the length of the belt, I don't know how well you can tell, but that's V-side up in the pulley here. I don't know why it's doing it. I'm assuming it's some kind of a clutch alignment issue. But again, I'm not sure, but it's something I gotta cure because I don't want to be back in the woods and have that kind of issue. I didn't do it last year. Pardon me. I didn't change anything in the clutch or drive arrangement. It's exactly the way I ran last year. I went all year on one belt without any issues, right up until the very end. So in the off season, I put a new Kevlar belt on. Everything I figured was good to go. So this was a new issue that I hadn't had before. So anyway. We'll get a few pieces to snorkel off and out of the way so we can get a better look at the choke. We'll get this belt guard off and maybe some light for down in there. You can see my clutch setup. You can see on the outside, there's its pivot. It goes right through the body. There's a bronze bushing in there, grease nipple, the works. That muffler clamp, just for decoration. It's actually a spare for the muffler. I just figured that was a good place to carry a spare. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. Let's get the rest of the bits off this and we'll see what we're up against. Oh, good morning, YouTube. Welcome back to the shop. I really didn't do much yesterday after I finished the last bit of filming, but here we'll pick it up again. I got the snorkel taken off. We're looking at the carb here, and I was having an issue that when I hit the throttle it would stick wide open. I would pull the choke and the throttle would return. I was thinking that maybe some linkage got messed up, something was wrong in here. But anyway, it turned out that my choke mechanism was what was doing it. I had originally made a little piece here, a nut and a tab welded on it, and it thread nice and tight onto this stub here. I hooked my choke cable to it, worked great, had a good feel, good spring action. But I learned later that that piece on the bottom of the throttle area that contacts the stop, that's what was interfering. So I've taken the easy way out, kinda. Now I've just kind of wrapped the wire around that stub, and so far it seems to be doing the job. But here, I can see if I can pull the choke here, and where is it? It's a little harder to pull on now. The leverage point is different, but it seems to work, and I'm going to go with it unless it gives me any further problems. So I'm calling that one good. Scratch it off the list. Here, before I put the snorkel back on, I know somebody's going to ask, how'd you make your snorkel? So I took a piece of exhaust reducer, 3-inch down to 2.5, I believe it was. I made a base plate out of a washer that fit the opening on the stock airbox system here. Welded everything up, gummed it up with some seam sealer. I do have a gasket that goes between the original airbox assembly and my snorkel. So it should be all sealed up. I've sealed off the original hose that went to the one-way valve on the gas tank. I've made a separate vent on the gas tank. Still got your PCV or your valve case, valve covered vent is still there. It keeps everything stock inside the exhaust tube. You take this filter off and there's a tab welded across the inside of the pipe with a hole in it, and it just goes down over the stud that was there for the stock air box. So I haven't altered anything with this. It's nothing that couldn't be put back. The rest of the stock air box will still go back together like I was never even there. But it definitely helps with the breathing, and puts my air intake right up under the bottom of the hood. There's maybe a 1/4 inch clearance between that and the underside of the hood. So it works great. But anyway, there you go. Give you some ideas, easy ways to make snorkel. The only reason I went with something that looks that fancy was they were on sale cheap. That really wasn't a whole lot more money than what it would have cost to replace the factory stock air filter that came with this engine. Here's the gas tank with a matching smaller version going to that vent valve, one-way vent valve that would go to your crankcase breather on the airbox. So that's just on its own now. Screw the environment, it's not my ozone. I'm kidding. But anyway, what else? I guess next we're on to the clutch down in the darkness. Anyway, we got a couple nuts to undo there. I've got the belt and the belt guard off the motor. I got to crawl underneath and undo the transmission pulley. We're going to pulley swap this while we got it all apart. The new belt I got a little shorter belt, so hopefully everything works out. My math was correct, and we'll see if we can't get this back together today and in running fashion, because I really need to beat the hell out of this thing. So anyway, stick with us here and we'll get on with it. I just jacked her up the rear there to pull the rear tire off, give us some room for getting at the transmission pulley, do the pulley swap at the rear end there. But I just wanted to give you a shot of the articulation that has made Donkey kind of famous. You can see there, here's a good foot of clearance under that rear tire while still maintaining 3 tires contact with the earth. Pretty good. It's worked out well. It's I don't know, I feel better keeping my tires on the ground than having them flop like a triangle out in midair, but maybe that's just me. Anyway, just thought it was a neat angle, give you guys a view of how much she can twist. Anyway, let's get back to her. Here we go, guys. I got the clutch out of the machine, the new belt threaded through it. I just thought I'd give you a quick view here before I put it back in case any of you are wondering how I did my clutch. It was really just a piece of flat stock T. I put on some belt guards or belt keepers, and this is the actuator arm that goes up to the clutch pedal. Pretty straightforward. It took a couple of us geniuses to figure out that all my original clutch problems were having the clutch on the wrong side of the belt. So for any of you that are having difficulties, you got to make sure that your clutch goes on the side of the belt being pushed out of the motor, not getting sucked into the pulley. It's I don't know why it makes a difference. I can't explain it, but I went through hell and back trying to figure out this clutch. When I had it on the wrong side of the belt, it would just not stop spinning completely. You couldn't shift gears without grinding. It was horrible. We switched it to the other side of the belt. Everything magically cured itself. So I don't know what else to tell you besides that. Here you can see my pulley swap ready to go. Custom belt guard, whatever you want to call it. A 6-inch pulley down from the factory 8-inch. Now that's good for about 10 kilometers an hour, 6 mile an hour, 2-inch difference. At least with my gearing in the transmission and my engine and stuff, that's what it gave me. I went from 25 kilometers an hour maybe. I peaked out at 32, I believe it was, with the pulley swap. So anyways, it's not a huge difference, but hey, who doesn't want more speed? So anyways, I'm going to crawl back under there and bolt this stuff back together. It's dark, it's cramped, there's no room for me, my belly, a camera, tools. So anyways, hold tight, and we'll get back to you in a minute when I got some stuff bolted on. Alright, we got everything buttoned up under here. Hopefully it's not too dark for you to see, but we've got an idler pulley with a belt guide in there. 6-inch pulley on the trans. The clutch is all hooked up again. The clutch return spring. New belt is on. So now we're just about ready to fire it up. I'm going to try firing up, make sure everything's good to go before I bother putting the hood and everything back on. I find pulling this thing apart, putting it back together, pulling it apart, you know how it goes. No fun. Anyway, we're getting there. Only a little bit left to go. I kind of meant to bring you along for some of it, but it's dark under there and that's boring. Anyway, let's button this up and see if we can't get it fired up. Hey gang, welcome back to the shop. You can see there I've got my belt all back together. The clutch is all back together. And after yesterday's disappointing test ride, the ride I just had worked pretty good. I'm going to call it a success and carry on with other things. One of which, I'll need to adjust my clutch pedal now because with the shorter belt it leans way too far back. Lucky for me, I made it with multiple holes here so I can make the rod adjustable. Dial it in for comfort. To do is change out a cotter pin here and put it into wherever I think is going to work the best for my seating position. Probably up one hole will be good enough. The only other drive line related that I want to tackle is I do want to tighten up my brake rod a little bit more. I don't like how far the pedal's got to bottom out before the brakes lock right up. So we'll give that a tweak. Other than that, wiring. I got to tackle that rat's nest and make some sense of it. Make it look a little nicer. There's some additions to be done, some headlight wiring, that sort of thing, but nothing major. Got to put the battery back in place, hook up all the stuff for the electric start, the winch. Yeah, we'll get that taken care of before we start putting the pretty back on it. So I guess that'll be the next step. So welcome back to the shop, YouTube. Yep, you can see I had to go for one more test drive up and down the road there, make sure it was right before I put all the hood and fenders and everything back on. She's all back together now, the wiring's done. I didn't bother filming that, it's pretty tedious. I'm no expert, I'm sure lots of you are better at wiring than I am. You know, if you have a specific question about something, I'll be happy to show you. Otherwise, I didn't think you need to see that. But I said in the last video that we'd have a giveaway. So lo and behold, it's that time here. Let's give away some stickers. I know you want them. I'm going to look for you guys to leave a comment, a like, and be subscribed to the channel. And we'll give her a few days here. Tell me where you would stick these stickers. Get creative. Be humorous, be whatever you want, but we'll pick a few of our favorites, and maybe when I announce the next build here in a few days, we'll announce the winners, and you can PM me your mailing addresses, and I'll send you out a sticker pack. But that's really just an appreciation for hanging in there, being subscribers, even though I haven't put out anything in a couple months here. I do appreciate you guys. All I can do is say sorry. You know, sometimes life gets in the way. I certainly didn't get to do all the riding I wanted to do. We never even had a chance to organize a group ride. Things just, the summer went by way too quick. Anyway, I do apologize, and we're going to have a fresh build, some new exciting ideas. Hopefully you'll stay tuned for that, and we look forward to making the videos for you. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll pan out here and leave you with a walk around a donkey, a little tractor porn, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.